Investigate anything that seems useful. Moving in.
Moving to the target.
Roger. Moving to target.
I'm on the target.
I have the hostile.
Those generators are the lifeblood of all our technology. We're too dependent on them. I don't like it. Yeah. That's obvious. Hey man, all good on my side.
There has to be useful intelligence here.
Contact!
What is this now? We got hostiles in the area.
Clear. They're gone.
Activating night vision.
Got a hostile over there.
Watch out! Drone overhead!
Whew! Nice!
Got one. Over there.
Frontal lobo, the frontal lobe disorder. Frontal lobe disorder.
In position.
And
On your go.
it deals with executive function. It's in decision making, reasoning, common sense, everything that has to do with being able to take care of oneself, have self-discipline, be able to explain what they're feeling and even understand what they're feeling. It's what happens to a person where they
Making good headway now. They won't know what hit them.
was most likely when he was in the hospital. No, when he was in the hospital, he got diagnosed with it, and it was probably because of the hospitalization they were able to come to a conclusion based on what they saw. Remember, he was in the hospital for a week? Plus, he's in this partial hospital thing where people are keeping their eye on him and getting to see all the stuff that he does and noticing his quirks. And people have been watching him really closely over there at Loma Linda. And they're the ones that diagnosed him with this. Which means that they have got to have found evidence, symptoms, things that even I couldn't figure out. So they've got him pretty figured out. And I will tell you that I do agree with the assessment. I'm just looking for the problem list. And I don't know if that's going to be under test results. What it is if you have neuro, don't worry, I can explain, I know exactly what you're saying. It's a compendium of ADHD, depression, because of his circumstances, and the fact that he has, over the years, I don't know why, but he knocks his head into walls on purpose, like, or he'll bang his forehead into tables real hard, like, yeah, which, Pat, can injure the frontal lobe. Because if you hit your head on the back of a wall after you thrusted it forward just to do that, you're going to dislodge your brain and it's going to hit on the frontal lobe right behind your forehead. It's going to smack it but hard. It can't help but the inertia of throwing the brain around like a can of tuna. Exactly. So, like whiplash kind of a thing. But only this has the added effect of him hitting the back of his head into a wall. Or the added effect of hitting the forehead onto the table in front of him. So, or hitting his own self like, like this. That kind of a thing. Or even on the back of the sofa just because of irritation or whatever. Like that. So, with that being said, I believe that it was brought on initially kind of, sort of, but it could have been controlled because of the ADHD and the depression. That would have been able to be controlled. Maybe the autism to a degree because it's neurodegenerative diseases that he's already had since he was young. Thing is, and the pervasive disability, the developmental or whatever, but it could have been controlled. If not for the injury that he had to have given himself because of all of that banging of the head. That's what sealed the deal. If you ask me, that's what would have sealed the deal. But it is very telling, and I had to apologize to him.
Scanning the area.
Activating night vision.
Stay vigilant.
Now you're just showing off.
Hostiles are looking for us.
Getting in position.
Roger, moving.
I need a shield.
Got that CO.
Locked on the hostile. Okay, Ghost Lead. We're clear.
Solid work. Switching to night vision.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You know the other day you sprayed my home, right?
Huh?
You know the other day you sprayed my home.
Really? Oh wow.
You nasty cat.
Uh-oh. Oh shit.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyhow, it doesn't say it there, but this is what it is.
Okay. Frontal lobe disorder. Okay.
And so, what it is it is
Permanent damage to the forehead, basically.
to the brain and the front of the brain, yes. The
Right.
frontal lobe disorder, also known as frontal lobe syndrome, is an impairment of the frontal lobe of the brain due to disease or frontal lobe injury. The frontal lobe plays a key role in executive functions such as motivation, planning, social behavior, and speech production. Frontal lobe syndrome can be caused by a range of different executive issues, including head trauma, tumors, neurodegenerative diseases, neurodevelopmental disorders, such as ADHD, autism, PDD, NOS, and also depression. There is simple screening tests that they could use, and they probably would have done something like that when he was hospitalized. Signs and symptoms are executive syndrome, which consists of a number of symptoms which tend to co-occur. They're cognitive, movement and speech, emotional and behavioral, and these symptoms occur regularly together as a co-occurrence. It's not uncommon to see one thing happening, but usually it's a compendium of various symptoms. And it all has to do with the frontal cortex areas. And that suggests that as executive functions may be more discrete than previously thought. So need to get some imaging to see what's going on.
I was just going to suggest that.
Yes, so I've asked about that. I did ask her if she could order one. An MRI and a CAT scan, just so that we could get one of each. Maybe even an x-ray of the head, one way or the other, because we want to see all the damage in different ways to see if there's anything that can be done. Yeah. So, tremor, he could get rhythmic muscle contractions, relaxation, but I don't see that. Apraxia is what I do see. Motor disorder caused by the damage, which causes planning issues, performing tasks, simple things like, you know, thinking backwards, doing things backwards. Kind of like, see how he's holding the comb?
See how he's holding what?
Comb.
Oh, the comb. Okay, so, oh, really?
Yes, that's the same thing as I see sometimes. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yes. He does not have dystonia, but gait abnormality. He does stand with, like, his hip out. Or sometimes he'll stand with, with like he'll stand, but his butt is like way in and like stomach kind of out. Sometimes he stands kind of weird at the hip for whatever reason. That's the gait abnormality, and so that's kind of part of the whole thing. Dyspraxia,
Putting my night goggles on.
it's impaired coordination of physical movement, but I don't know his opinion about that, but he does have difficulty inhibiting emotions, anger, and excitement, difficulty in understanding others' points of view.
True.
He can't understand when you're explaining something. If he believes it to be one way, he's going to stick to what he thinks or what he knows, because he cannot see it from your point of view, and he cannot see it from the reality of the situation. He can only see it from the point of view he can see it from that's his own. And if that doesn't match with what you think it is, or what the world would say it is, what it really is, reality, then that's where problems can set in.
Okay, well, you've already seen all of this. Everything.
The behavioral part, compulsive eating, social disinhibition, preservation and utilization behavior, protecting oneself at all costs because someone's bound to victimize you no matter what.
My advice to that unnamed low-level French politician would be to remind them that it's only because of the United States of America that the French are not speaking German right now. So they should be very grateful to our great country.
There is now a member of the European Parliament from
What do you think the biggest threat is to the United States currently?
the American left.
Really?
For sure. I know it's a big statement, but more so than Russia, more obviously than Chinese Communist Party and the cartels, is that we have a ruling class that hates the country. So, yeah.
Okay, let me see.
I swear to God.
We are wildly outnumbered.
You better give my homie a grilled cheese sandwich. They're out of this phone.
Putting on night vision.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. I didn't see my girl Okay. Now, of course, I'm starting school. Oh, it's been a long day.
Don't you be on the lead? Don't you read remarks for everyone? Oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
It's not physical therapy.
Glenn had
He is not a fat, nosy cocksucker. Bad girl branding. Sorry about
now
that.
the Bodarks won't have access to the drone swarm. Time to switch to night
Don't you be
vision.
on the lead? What? Don't you be on the lead?
You're talking to me, no wonder.
I'll clear this position. En route to your location.
Damn it. Run.
Yeah.
And I was like, that looks like a cop car. Turned all the way around, sure enough. Damn cop.
The-
Yeah. You just can't get enough of them. What the hell?
I don't know, I'm a freaking cop magnet.
I'm sorry now.
Oh, and
In China,
this
during
is
ancient
what
time,
the
wedding
what
invitation
it says
cards
for
were not made
causes.
from paper,
Oh,
but from
by the
copper.
way, a part of the
First,
whole
copper
thing is,
cut
you
into
know
a small
what
size and then placed on a mold. A
Bruce
wooden
Willis
hammer
has.
is used to beat it, imprinting the design onto the metal. After continuous
Frontotemporal
hammering, the texture
dementia.
details are engraved
The
onto the copper sheet,
frontotemporal
and the wedding
dementia.
card is finally ready.
And it's with the
In China,
aphasia,
during ancient
right?
time,
Okay.
American accent in every role where you play an American. What is the most challenging word?
Frontal lobe impairment.
Captain Gibson, this is
also
Sergeant
known
Brown.
as
She took us
frontal
on a little
lobe
chase, but we have
syndrome or
captured Dr.
disorder,
Sigrid
which is
Bloom.
what
There's no sign of
he
Lieutenant
has.
Becker, but we found some promising intel. My team's en route to Camp Fox with
Is
the prisoner.
a feature of
American accent.
Alzheimer's disease and or frontotemporal dementia.
Giving the drone swarm some false patrol coordinates.
Bravo 4, got a vehicle moving toward us, right?
Unfortunately. I've already pretty much explained to them that his life is going to be very challenging. It's going to be, he may have to have a caregiver, someone to supervise him for 24 hours a day. It just depends on what he shows his capabilities are. If they think he's capable of being at home overnight alone, just, you know, because he'll be too tired to get up or do anything. That kind of a thing, you know, maybe, or, you know, if he gets left with a few, you know, devices, you know, just to keep his mind. They may decide that that's okay, but a daytime, you know, caregiver to keep their eye on him to make sure he doesn't do anything, you know, that would be
hurt himself or walk off and walk somewhere where he's not supposed to
because
go.
he's upset or because something's, you know,
Popped into his head and he decides to act on it.
yeah, like what happened with, you know, the Toneronas, you know, that kind of a thing. So with that being said, to help him with a little bit more self-control, maybe even go on the walks with them because they can go in the sun. Unfortunately, I couldn't. Because if I would have walked with them, that wouldn't have happened. But I can't go in the sun, so unfortunately for me, that wouldn't have worked. And that's why that happened.
Well,
But
you got to,
Oh,
before he has to get out of that apartment anyway, he really should be getting out more often and take walks with Philip. Get him out, get both of them in the sun, and we, how many times have we told
That should prevent the swarm from connecting to the Buddha.
Get the hell out, make it part of your routine, and get the hell out.
Drone swarm is now inactive
he
in the
does.
region.
She'll be going
The
out in
Bodarks
the
won't be able to
backyard doing
reactivate
a lot
it
of
in time.
pounding away at metal here pretty soon when it gets nice and warm. But
Yeah, we're supposed to have a really nice week.
Yeah.
Good weather is coming up, which I'm thrilled about. Finally.
So I've explained to him all of this, but then I had to explain to him what my intentions were all this time and why I was so hard on him and so insistent with him and so driven. Like, you know, I was trying to drive through information. I was trying to instill in him all of my thoughts, all of my, you know, I wanted him to,
Experiences and how do you think?
I wanted to like fix whatever all of this was. I wanted to change it. I wanted to fix him. I wanted to help him. I wanted to take all the bad stuff and get rid of it and just, you know,
Go away. I get it.
and I wanted to teach him what I thought he didn't know. I wanted to be a change in his life that would have stuck with him and actually did something that Renee couldn't do or anyone else, for instance. I wanted to, you know, he and I came out against the world and everything was perfect, you know. That's what I kind of wanted for us, but I do realize that was overboard. over achieving. I mean, it was insightful. I mean, it shows what kind of mother I would want to be, successful and have my children excel in every way. But I mean, you also have to look at the ability of the child. So. He may need to have an IHSS is what I told him, so he will most likely have to get it passed. He was like, well, maybe PAC could work for me. But I was telling him, this is after me and Dad are gone. Because right now, we can take care of you. Right now, we could be PAC. You have a 24-hour cruise, Mom and Dad. But when we go, you're going to need a PAC. He may even need a live-in caregiver. One that actually lives with him, but is more like a roommate. Yeah.
No.
Kind of like a roommate. No, like a caregiver, but a live-in caregiver.
Yeah, but the caregiver is supposed to take care of the bill. The caregiver is not supposed to be paying the bills, paying the rent, making sure you know. That's not what they do. They take care of the patient, or they take care of the person.
They do have caregivers that can help out with that kind of stuff.
They do?
Yeah.
I know I'm not allowed to. I'm not even allowed to drive. I shouldn't have been driving Marie anywhere. Because I guess I'm not insured by IHSS, but yet I can drive John everywhere in a van. It's allowed because of circumstances. And they won't question me driving him somewhere or using his van. I have my driver's license. I have insurance. And as long as that's there, I can drive him.
Right. Yeah, no, they have caregivers that if you're not good at paying your bills and stuff, they could become your payees and help you with that. And or they can gain access to your, and I think that might end up being the way that it would have to be, unfortunately, because if this gets any worse, and it is progressive, it does get worse. That's why I say I just didn't want him to be taken advantage of, because people will have to manage his money. People will have to manage his affairs, meaning the bills getting paid, the rent getting paid, supplies being bought, the food being bought, the toiletries being bought. If you have a cat or a dog, make sure that that stuff is done. Clothing is bought. Laundry soap, laundering stuff, you know, making sure that all that is done, that you have enough orders of the machine, you know, that kind of a thing. Yes. Yes. I mean, it couldn't be more perfect. It couldn't be more perfect. You should have seen the look on Dr. Quay's face when I was making my assessment, and she's like, yeah, oh my, you, and then she went, well, this is wonderful. I'm glad that you were able to, you know, put something together here.
I'm actually happy for you. All of this shit that you've been going through for 50 years,
it's not something, this is not something we would look for in a organized role. It is also something that we wouldn't look for in a youngster, but I have a feeling he's been affected with this since he would have been diagnosed with autism or ADHD, and that could have been back when he was in his studies, to be honest. Because if you look at his IEP, you know, his professor is the behavior issues like his professor or he's trying to take over control of classes or communication, irritability, agitation, acting out, all of that kind of stuff that was found in my kind of like magic word. So it's like, but this is what really hurts me. And I know it has to hurt him too. Instead of looking at and trying to find out what's going on, like I went at this for this long to try to figure this out, to try to get him help, to try to make sure that we knew what exactly was wrong with him. Because if people are saying it's not Asperger's, well, it has to come from something. So here I go on my wild goose chase, and here we go. I found it. Wild goose found her nut.
I haven't seen something so self-destructive since. Wow. We'll get to that. Let's just start with the business.
And what's so crazy? And I, the ADHD on it, I said, well, I'm almost positive that, you know, the whole behavior, some of the neurodegenerative stuff probably has something to do with attention deficit disorder, maybe. And that actually is other. And it can also have autism, but it also can have cerebral vascular disease, like Alzheimer's disease and social temporal disorders. It can be caused by sudden damage injury, for example, if you throw an accident,
It's gonna blow any second. Bail out.
or has played of your skull,
Combat drones
like the
out.
front of your brain hitting the inside of right here.
Fire!
It's actually very good news, if you ask me, because at least it answers almost every straight question. But really what, and of course it takes me off of my path of, you know, like the like the whole righteous motherhood thing, like I'm gonna get him married, I'm gonna get him
Hostiles here eliminated. I got your back. Hostiles hit.
I think he could do this, I think he could do that, don't worry, I think I got this, I know the kid, all of that stuff, all of my like why the ideas
Drones out of
were.
juice.
Extra fire.
It's like so hard. I'm trying to push them out. Trying to get them rid of them. It's just an abnormal thing for a mother to not have those. Yeah, because as a mother you want to feel all the milestones that, I mean, if it happens, like it happens, and I'm not gonna, so do whatever he can do, and at this point I understand why. And so therefore, why would I believe him and force him to do something he just is not ever going to be capable of doing? That would be neat.
That is a fact. Well, let me just keep reading this. Take notes. Tablet today was 6 sour with anti-gun mob and their lawfare tactics. Glad tomorrow let another firearms manufacturer and then another. Today, for 6 hour, it ends.
He said that he said nobody except for me would have studied it enough to find out
Fucking shot by your gun? I don't think this detective shattered
what it would be. I mean, Renee did some studying on Asperger's, and that was after he had flunked out of college, and out of best opportunities and all that stuff. And but she blamed Corey for it, that it all came from your father. None of this came from me. But yet, if you look at all the paperwork that I've looked at on all the different diseases, if you read the medical journals and everything that comes from the dad, the only thing that dad could have given him was ADHD. That could be either mother or father. But as far as all this other stuff with autism or anything having to do with like bipolar and all this other stuff, it's all Renee generated. It's all internally generated. Why? Because your brain is formed inside of your mother's uterus. So whatever she comes in contact with can fuck your brain. And that also can cause this if she drinks. It says that if the mother ever came in contact with ethanol, which is a deponent to a baby, which means that you can get through a life as it's grown. Fetal syndrome. The one who's going to because Corey goes, I can't believe I know that you guys say this, and I believe, I have to believe it because it's people saying it, right? But it's hard for Corey to believe that she would have actually wanted to abort. Because she was so daggone stinking pro-life. And she was always talking about, you know, children, babies, da-da-da-da-da-da. And it seemed like she was like the most pro-life person you meet, but yet Trinity told me. Philip told us that he heard the conversation between Renee and Trinity. So that's confirmation that what Trinity told me had to be true. And that's the part that Corey is like trying to wrap his head around. Because how is it possible that, you know, this many people could actually abort?
Could have used him right about now.
But also, she's shady. She does things behind people's backs. She even uses the system to her advantage, like rotting LA. Okay, so I mean, she does shady shit. She could have had a drink or two just to take the edge off. I don't know.
Say the line, Sig. It's true.
And no one would have been the wiser if she brushed her teeth or chewed some gum or got a Rispado or... He was at work or something, you know, when this kind of a thing could have happened, so... I mean... Because that is one thing that they say right here, Pat. Look, I have this spectrum disorder because I was born on drugs and alcohol. But I don't know, Philip could also.
I was recently talking to a bunch of former state engineers. They told me, off the record, I won't include their names, they told me that this was like fucking water cooler talk. They all knew about this.
That's just it. The fetal alcohol spectrum disorder was that. Which means that the mother would have came in contact with a pathogen for a baby's health. Philip and I kind of looked at each other, even though Corey did not believe that could be possible because she was so pro-life and pro, you know, pregnancy and baby and, you know, take care of this baby at all costs because I value my pregnancy, right?
She could lie.
I think I like my rap videos too, because I bottle a lot of this shit
So I mean, but even he wasn't treated well. I mean, I told you about that email on his birthday, right? I don't want you anymore, so don't call here. If you want to call and talk to anyone else, you can, but I won't answer it for me. I won't say hi or anything. So I'm not saying happy birthday even though it's your birthday. I'm saying goodbye. That kind of a thing. Because he was a pathological liar, so. But that's what moms do. Instead of trying to reach him and, you know, teach him the right way, they just throw him to the curb, you know.
One example of a court case where they were brought to court over the negligent discharges on the 320 and it was dismissed.
I took him in and tried to, you know, reason with them and tried to, but he didn't see.
I haven't verified this. I'm not sure.
He chose her.
Sig, don't send your lawyers after me because you know Sig has
And now,
lawyers.
he's lost.
Mostly to handle the P320.
Over there.
Told him the response.
He could earn her back.
If you actually look into the details of the case, there was something about
I don't know.
Sweet shot, Ghostlead.
My therapist has not found anything else out. Because this was all back when I was trying to get therapy for Philip. And I explained to Casey what happened to him. He had to make a report about Brian looking him up. Well, that report made its way all the way to DCFS. And that's why the daughter was missing.
Be more than outdoors. Take care.
No. Because I'm not his mom and
That guy spotted.
that's not my grandkid. And the only person that could is Philip, but that's not his therapist. Yeah, but. So everything is kind of tied up in the fact that it's my therapist and she's not talking, so. Yeah. But, yeah, everything is real telling. It's just that we've got to get used to this information and we've got to let it absorb in our systems and set in. And right now it's the shock of it all and
This will give us better eyes on the part.
but the one thing that Philip is not happy about is that, and I mean I would be in my right mind for saying this, you're upset and you got to blame Dad for all of this, but at the same time, she didn't maybe take as good care of herself as she should have, but also she never studied enough to try to figure this out like I did, right?
No.
So that's what you're upset about, right?
Yeah. I'm sorry, you kind of caught me in a distracted moment as I'm...
Yeah. He said, yeah, that would be the way to say it. Because it seems as though he was not cared about.
The truth about the Anderson manufacturing St. Patrick's Day. You might want to hit up Sig. He'll probably pay you better. They really need one. If you want to see a deeper dive into a lot of this stuff, and you'll let Sig do it on Comcast, on flopping with their own video on this, just dive into this. I know it's empirical evidence. That video I think is
And that is a lot to do with all of this kind of stuff too. So, I mean, when it really boils down to it, Mommy Dearest fucked him.
Call critics double down and gaslight our followers. Address the issues and work toward fixing
Mother
the very real
Dearest,
problem.
Shanae, on crack.
Speak directly to Sig and whoever wrote that fucking post. Basically calling me an anti-gun grifter. First of all,
In living color. No, I'm kidding.
Trying to get a copyright strike?
Remember, you could be anything you wanna be. In living color. Mommy, don't say that. Yeah, Martin Lawrence.
How many other clowns don't play that way?
I watched that back in the 90s. It was funny. It was hilarious. Shanae, Homie the Clown.
Bobo the Clown.
Homie the Clown. Homie, don't play that.
You want me to jump around, make a fool of myself, make you laugh? Yeah! Homie-o don't play that.
So yeah, that was her.
Ah, damn, I have to,
The funny thing is that even though we would catch a little bit of that, as soon as the staff caught on that we were living color, they all got in trouble. Yeah.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Getting in
If you're a
position.
Sig fan,
And that's because of suggestive adult
if you're still around
humor.
this far in the video, maybe consider subscribing. And if you're already subscribed, go ahead and just check your email. Do me that favor. If YouTube has been doing that
Like, I mean, we're 14.
Piss me off when it hits that. Sig, reach out if you have any questions or if you need an address for the assist that I am expecting for this video. As for the rest,
We're talking.
thank you for watching all of this. I appreciate you guys.
We're talking. I'm at this point one very sweet 13-year-old, and I'm trying to get this, in living color. Or
If I can speak directly to Sig,
I actually
I hate
one Halloween or 2 Halloween. I had a red dress and then I made the little, with cardboard, the yellow little hair
Activating
cut
night
out
vision
and
goggles.
wore it on like the headband on. And then I took cotton balls and made her little pearls. And then I made
I see an automated turret.
Lay it on.
Not maybe horn. I made a horn out of cardboard so that I could use it.
There's somewhere
Like
on
how
the
we do.
grenade!
And yeah, so I went out as Lisa Simpson.
Bagman ID'd.
I thought it was really cool. And then the same year that I was Lisa Simpson.
You ain't going nowhere, Bagman.
Keep an eye out. We may have
And
hostile
people thought that I was Lisa Simpson because of the coaching. Just like Renee thought that I named Connor. Connor.
Combat drone deployed.
Oh, you know, she named the baby after Scott Peterson's son, Connor. All she is into is like murder, death, kill kind of stuff.
Over there.
So she named that baby after Connor Peterson, you know that, right?
Target the heavy gun. Enemy heavy. Rocket launcher spotted.
My baby is C-O-N-N.
Serious clear. Coming to you.
Meaning Connor McLeod of the Clan.
Target there.
There's a Highlander up there somewhere.
I'm going to find Highlander in every single episode.
Oh, you're gonna love it. Oh, no. There was a series, but lots of movies.
And 3 movies, I think.
Highlander.
Yeah, there was a... It was like... Yeah, Corey knows all about it.
Could have used it.
I
Highlander?
got it here so that he can hear you. I got a piece as well, so that would be kind of hard for me to take it with me.
Highlander 2. There was like 4 or 5 movies. And one of them is like the finale associated with Highlander, the TV series.
Okay.
There was only one TV series, right?
Yeah, the one with
Yeah.
Kevin.
Yeah, it went like 7 or 8 seasons or something like that. Adrian Paul was Duncan MacLeod.
Duncan MacLeod or Clan MacLeod.
Clan MacLeod. Who? Who? Adrian Paul.
I think so. How many actors have they have played that part?
Only one. Adrian Paul played Duncan MacLeod in the TV series. If you're familiar with that. But the original Highlander was Christopher Lambert in the Highlander movies.
Okay.
I have the first and third film. The second one is like really kind of out there and like out of sync, and it just doesn't fit.
It's just weird.
The third one is supposed to be after all the immortals are gone. He's the last one, and he's bringing about world peace, and he's doing this and da da da. What ends up happening is there is an archaeological dig in a place in Japan, and they uncovered a cave where a wizard lived, like way back in the Genghis Khan era. And Mario Van Peebles plays an immortal who is basically a Genghis Khan type of Mongolian warlord type dude. Now he went into the cave to fight the wizard, killed the wizard, took his quickening, and then in the process of that big old fireworks and lightning show, it brought all of that lightning blowing off.
I've had 4 biscuits. I've had my from last night.
Blew the ceiling out of the cave, and it all came crashing down on him and buried him alive for 400 years.
Oh, really?
There's ketchup and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, but he can't be killed.
Well, here's the thing.
Combat drone's batteries drained.
Clear. Enemy choppers.
You can't die, but it's like you can't die, and no matter. But there comes a point where like everything just fails. You know, like your heart rate stops, you're breathing, everything, and you pass out. And it's just kind of like getting knocked out, like someone just walk up to you and find that one spot on your chin and hit and just punches you as hard as they can right on your off switch. Boom, and knock you out. Boom.
So that's basically what happens?
That's basically what happens is, hold on, let me finish. So when an immortal, you know, is mortally wounded and dies, it's kind of like someone knocks him out. And then he comes to again a moment later. Right? You know, so he'll come back. But there's a point right there in the middle when he dies. He's buried, and there's no way to him to like respawn. He's buried.
We got a chopper coming
So
in.
he just laid there dead for 400 years and didn't decay because he wasn't really dead.
Right.
And when they started to uncover him enough to where the dirt and everything that was on him, that he was burying him, it didn't weigh as much as it did. He could find, it's like his chest could move because he could start breathing again. So he woke up.
In the arms
and in order,
of John.
and in the process of fighting the wizard, one of his he had two, like two buddies that would go with him everywhere. You know, your typical 80s teenage
Henchman.
punk movie where, you know, you got the badass, the Johnny Lawrence with his two best friends who were always, you know, backing him up, you know, causing trouble and shit, right? Like, you know, Karate Kid, Johnny Lawrence. Right, you know, that, okay. Two of his friends. Alright. Like, kind of like that, right? So he's got like two henchmen to go with him, right? Two whatever, you know. Anyway, one of them gets killed and actually beheaded. So he ain't coming back. But when the wizard dies, it buries the Mario Van Peebles character and his other sidekick, and it kept them dead for like over 400 years until they came back when they were being excavated in a archaeological dig site by you know, they were checking some stuff out. Anyway, they unknowingly let these two guys, you know, let them loose. And now they're back, and now he's out running around. And in order for him also to get more strength, he kills his friend. And then he goes running off, and now he's going to go running around and trying to, like, he's out looking for McCloud, because he somehow figures out that McCloud is the last one. Yeah. So it found, you know, because he actually absorbed because you absorb everything from the person you kill in their essence, in their quickening, and he just killed a wizard. So now
Fireball, motherfucker.
So now
Oh shit! I'm going to make it. Get up.
So yeah, so now he's
Ready for action.
he's got the powers of, he's absorbed the powers of a wizard and stuff. And somehow he figures it out and so eventually, you know, there's, you know, they're playing around or whatever, but yeah, they're gonna fight again, and McCloud's gonna win again. And then there's a fourth one, and it's really stupid. Has to do with like going into the future or something.
Take cover, drone in the air.
Yeah, heard really bad reports about number 2 and number 4, so I haven't watched them. But there's another one with Adrian Paul in it, and it's kind of like one of the. It's kind of like a movie associated with Highlander, the TV series, which is actually, you know, that was like, and that was actually not a Hollywood thing. That was a Canadian thing. Canada has their own filming industry, just like Hollywood, and that was done up there, just like Stargate SG-1 and other shows. What's number 2? I've heard that the second one really isn't all that good, and the fourth one was really stupid. It's like, you know, by the time you get to your fourth film, it's not like they did with like George Lucas could do with Star Wars. I mean, if he could actually have all, if he could actually have all the technology of today, way back 20, 30 years ago, he could have done the films faster and maybe done all 9 of them correctly.
Careful.
Instead of selling it off. But by the time you get to your 3rd and 4th movies, not all of them could be like the first 6 Star Wars films or Rambo. I mean, even you know. But I think
one movie to the other movie, or go back to the other movies and tie them all together.
Yeah.
It just get weird.
Yeah. You're gonna watch. Yeah, if you want to watch the movies, I recommend the first one and the 3rd one.
Rambo, First Blood.
But yeah.
Okay.
And then there's the TV series, which is pretty interesting. And that one is Duncan MacLeod is kind of like Connor MacLeod was Christopher Lambert played Connor MacLeod, born in like what, the 1400s in Scotland. Connor MacLeod was born same area 100 years later.
Damn it. They know.
Same cloud, same brand, different vintage. Oh yeah.
And you liked it?
It was pretty good, wasn't it, Jen?
I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, some of the episodes, like just like every long-running TV series, some episodes suck more than others. Right? And they have, characters that come in that you just really fucking hate.
Okay.
And hopefully they get killed off and replaced by better characters.
Right.
But it's pretty good. Let me think. In the TV series The Highlander, starring Adrian Paul as Duncan MacLeod, there are a bunch of different characters that come in, and some of them are like reoccurring, visiting in during the whole course of it. You remember the one TV show, Night Court, back in the 80s?
I've heard of it, but I never saw it. I never got into it. That was one of the ones I just didn't pay attention to.
Okay. Well, like all the different characters on the show, John Larroquette and Marquis Post, and then there was Bull. He's like the bailiff, but he's a big, bold-headed looking kind of guy.
Big, bold.
Okay.
Richard Mole.
Okay.
He plays Bull, the bailiff. You know who I'm talking about?
I know who you're
The
talking
big,
about.
bald-headed motherfucker.
Okay, he shows up in the TV series, reoccurring characters that show up. Was it Sheena Easton
For what?
in Highlander? She was another immortal. Was it Sheena Easton? I think. Yeah, Sheena Easton shows up in it. Roger Daltrey from The Who. Oh, and I mean, there's a bunch of other people that come in. So they have, when they have guest stars, sometimes they got some real guest stars. I forget all of them.
Well, you don't have to tell me all about it.
Anyway, it's pretty good.
Get an opinion on it. That's all.
It's pretty good if you like that kind of thing.
Okay.
I liked it. I thought that Highlander was really good. I like all the action. I think it's hilarious how the quickening happens.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. I like the soundtrack, Queen.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Queen is the soundtrack for it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love it.
Oh, and in the first couple of seasons, the place he's living is in where he's he's living in a building, but at some point he's living in France. It's like he took this small barge and turned it into a houseboat.
Oh.
And he's docked up there in somewhere in like France. And living on a converted barge.
Interesting.
Yeah. You know what?
Different. Okay.
That would be a bitch and bug out method for like when, shit hits the fan, total end of the world, and you can't stay on the land because of all the zombies.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That would be perfect then.
That would work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I like that.
Okay, T5X.
Oh yeah.
Oh, March. Good. Yeah.
Let me show you. Yeah, I can find a picture of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Highlander's barge. All I gotta do is just type it in. I get points for everything
Okay.
Good for you.
that I look up.
How many points do you have yet?
Let me show you here in a second. When I get into the search, it'll let me show you. HIDHL. All right. So this is Highlander, and his barge.
Roger, moving.
30 days of Fang Girl
Ready,
Legend.
boss.
Barge, floating house, Highlander. So,
Oh my god. Is it in the water?
yeah.
It's actually in the water.
Yeah, so,
Take off in it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nothing pretty. It's just this, little thing that looks like a little building on this big, long, like, weird thing.
Right. That is weird.
But, you can go down in the hole, though, right here.
Right.
There's all kinds of room on that thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who close up on him? Yep, that's him.
Who?
He has a big forehead.
Who? Adrian Paul?
No, not Adrian Paul, the original.
Oh, Christopher Lambert?
Yeah, Christopher Lambert.
Yeah, he's got a huge forehead.
He did a pretty good job as King
It's this
Lord
one that Connor is named after.
Raiden from the Mortal Kombat.
Adrian Paul
Lord
is
of
actually
Thunder.
Duncan. So Adrian Paul is this one.
Can't really see his face. Okay.
This guy right here. So look for that face.
Now who's that?
Adrian Paul. That is Duncan McLeod. He is a Highlander from the TV show. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's Duncan. Yeah, he's family of, I guess, the nephew of Connor.
Yeah.
He's like a descendant of Connor.
He's like a great nephew of Connor McLeod, because they come from the same clan, but about 100 and something years apart.
Oh.
And that's why Connor McLeod.
Activating night vision.
He's really not. He's not really cute at all.
I think Adrian Paul is, though.
Alright, well.
Adrian Paul is, but the one that plays, yeah.
That's him with the Highlander katana or whatever.
Yeah.
Shit.
Here's the legacy of Adrian Paul's Highlander, the series.
Oh, that's no.
Now, on the series, Duncan is visiting